Hi, I'm Jim. I'm a narcissist. I have narcissistic personality disorder. Making these videos just as kind of like a first-hand recollection of things I've noticed with my disorder, things my therapist and I have identified, things I work on. Just really just my account of what it's like to have this disorder. Some things I've noticed. So I always tell people to get a therapist. So really important. If you're not familiar, there are a couple of different types. Right. And a therapist is a very broad generalization. So there's licensed professional counselor, and that's who you're going to utilize to gauge one-on-one utilizing talk therapy. Right. So what that is you're going to be in an office type setting, whether it's virtual, doesn't really matter. This is the traditional, you imagine, the person sitting in the chair, with their little notepad and pen, and you're laying on the couch talking to them. That doesn't mean that's what you're going to be doing, but it's something very similar. Most research kind of tells you that that's really the best course of action for this disorder. The reason being is, of course, if you go to a psychiatrist is the equivalent of a doctor. They have a medical degree. They can prescribe medication. Now, if you have things other than narcissistic personality disorder, a psychiatrist might be beneficial for them to prescribe medication for those other things. But there's no medication. I'm going to repeat this. There is no medication that in any way, shape, or form does anything to assist with narcissistic personality disorder. None. Zero. Zilch. There is no pill. So don't go to a psychiatrist to prescribe something that isn't going to do anything for narcissistic personality disorder. So unless something gets released tomorrow that, I'm not aware of, and of course, this is just my research, right? But there is nothing on the market right now that in any way, shape, or form assists with narcissistic personality disorder. If you do have other things like anxiety, ADHD, there's medication for the things that you may have aside from your NPD, but there's no medication for your NPD. So if you go to a psychiatrist, they're not going to be as helpful as you think if all you have is narcissistic personality disorder, because they're not going to be able to prescribe anything for you. Right. And normally you see a psychologist, they're usually utilized for testing. Right. So I see a licensed professional counselor. Right. I see one that specializes in cognitive behavior modification. Right. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Right. So my narcissistic personality disorder let me not say it makes me, right? I am me. I have this disorder. So when I talk about my disorder, it's me that's doing it, right? So I have characteristics. I have behaviors, right? I have things that I do that I don't like to do, that I don't want to do anymore. I want them changed. I need them identified. I want my future better than my past. That's what my counselor specializes in. And that's why I chose my counselor. And, we're doing great work. Yay, me. Right? So, off on a tangent. But you should definitely see a professional of some kind, right, to work on your wellness plan. And what I wanted to talk about today is, here's something I've noticed. It is like the second I realized I had this disorder, man, it was like I immediately started identifying everybody in the world as a narcissist with narcissistic personality disorder. I turn on the TV and I'm like, oh my God, this show's about it, right? Next thing I know, I'm starting to look at the people I know and I'm like, oh man, I think that person's a narcissist. I think they have narcissistic personality disorder, right? I'm finding myself, I'm pulling people aside. I'm like, yo, man, come here. You think Jill's a narcissist? You think Jill got narcissistic personality disorder? Jim, Jill's 2. What are you talking about? I'm like, I don't know. All I'm saying is maybe we should get her tested, right? Because I'm seeing some characteristics over there. But I'm making fun. But I mean, what I don't know is why. Now, for me, it could probably be one of two things, right? I feel really alone, and that's something my disorder does, right? It makes us feel isolated. Like we're the only one that ever feels like this or does these things. That's what the disorder wants, right? It wants us to feel isolated and alone. So, to not feel isolated and alone, what do? Well, everybody has this. Look, this person has it, that person has it. They could be diagnosed tomorrow if they got, maybe, right? Maybe that's part of it. All right. Maybe I want to feel that I'm a part of a larger group, and I'm not isolated like my disorders, tried to make me feel my entire life. Maybe there's some truth, maybe some of these people aren't diagnosed and they're not aware, right? Maybe. But, and this is a good thing, right? Here, so you hear me say constantly, it is very commonplace in the profession, licensed professional counselor, psychologist, therapist, psychiatrist, whatever, right? It is a dominant belief that if one of their patients is a narcissist with narcissistic personality disorder, you cannot make this stuff up, that they do not tell the person. I am sorry, but that cracks me up every time I say it, right? But they truly believe, first, that you're not going to acknowledge and accept it, right? So it's kind of pointless to even tell you that they need to devise a wellness and betterment plan for you without your knowledge, right? Second, they believe that even if they tell you, right, that you'll pretend, but you won't really believe them underneath. Like everything will just be a fake facade. Either way, they don't want to tell you because they think it will hinder their ability to treat and assist you. That's crazy. That's insane. These are the professionals, right? With that being said, last thing you want to do is roll up on somebody. Yo, dude, you a narcissist, man. You know you got narcissistic personality disorder. First, if you're not licensed, you can't diagnose somebody, right? That's a big no-no. You have to be a licensed professional something in order to do so. So, and second, man, you gotta be careful, right? Remember we talked about what happens when you back a narcissist in the corner. So we know with this disorder that the professionals don't even want to tell them that they got it, right? When it's just one-on-one. And they're coming to them saying, hey, something is wrong with me. I think I got something messed up. I definitely think this because I am seeking therapy. I am coming to you. So I definitely think something's wrong. So half of the battle right there, right? But they still believe that telling me in any way, shape, or form that I have this disorder would be detrimental to any kind of like wellness plan or betterment in the future. That's insane. And we're narcissists. We have narcissistic personality disorder. I don't know why we think we can roll up on Tommy and be like, yo, Tommy, man, you narcissist, dude. You got NPD, bro. Right? You think you're going to believe us? The professionals are afraid to tell these people. My point being, if you truly believe that someone you encounter, and I mean, you're going to, maybe this is a friend. Maybe this is a family member. Maybe it's a coworker, right? And you discover, man, they got narcissistic personality disorder. I'm feeling pretty confident. First, right? So, again, I'm not a licensed professional counselor, but there's a difference between having symptoms and having the disorder, right? So you can break out that, okay, these are the symptoms. Oh, man. Tommy got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dude got 8 of these, man. Oh, man, there are only 9 symptoms. Dude got 8 of them. This is crazy. He's definitely narcissist. He's definitely got narcissistic personality disorder. So the DSM, whatever they're up to now, I mean, I think it changes every day. But just having the symptoms isn't enough. It actually has to have an impact on your life. So just because they show some of the symptoms doesn't mean they have the disorder, right? And remember, we go back to that's not for us to say, all right? That's for a licensed professional, counselor, therapist, psychiatrist, whatever, to diagnose. That's not for us, right? I just kind of wanted to point that out. When we start noticing that people have symptoms, that doesn't necessarily even mean because we see the symptoms that they have the disorder, right? But let's say, wow, we definitely noticed that they have a lot of the symptoms. It's definitely had a huge impact on their life. We're feeling confident that if they were to go to therapy, they would definitely be diagnosed. All right. Here's my recommendation. Here's kind of like the counselors, talk about. We can do helpful things without trying to bring the world down on ourselves, right? So we don't need to roll up to this person and be like, yo, I really think you got narcissistic personality disorder, right? But here's what we can do. Hey, I was kind of noticing that, when we go out a lot, you really just yell and scream at the waiter and waitress a lot. I mean, this has happened a couple of times. Maybe you should see somebody about that. Like, maybe you should talk to someone. I know you have health benefits. You'd probably only have a really cheap copay. We didn't tell them they had narcissistic personality disorder. We told them we identified some problems in their life, right? We offered them what we believe would be helpful, right? We can do that, right? And hey, they say no. We got to respect that. It's not for us to make their decisions. We're narcissists. We want to. You better believe we want to. But that's not for us to make their decisions. We're narcissists. We believe that we're always right no matter what. But that's not for us to decide. But we can do that. That's okay. Right? Hey, I really notice when there's like a big group of us, you really just kind of like monopolize and take over the time. I think that's something that maybe, if you went and saw someone, you could kind of like work on. That's something that you could definitely talk about. We can identify the behaviors, and kind of recommend counseling, right? Nothing wrong with that. We friends, right? That's how I would recommend doing it. I would not use the word narcissist. I would not use the term narcissistic personality disorder. But also, let's say, hey, you know what? This is a coworker, and I'm not confronting a coworker in any way, shape, or form. I'm not going to identify their behaviors and no, that ain't happening. I get it, right? Me either. I don't want to do that. So what do? Hey, we're a little lucky. We're narcissists. We have narcissistic personality disorder. We are on a journey of wellness and betterment, right? And congratulations, you're doing awesome. You are killing it. Glad for you. I'm proud of you. But we got a little knowledge that most people don't have. We know the symptoms, right? We know the consequences, right? We know the actions. We know the reactions. We can identify it. So we're in that business meeting, and we know that one person is a narcissist, and that symptom starts coming out, taking over the conversation, right? Controlling. We can ride with it at that point because we know it's coming. We know how to deal with it, right? Because we identified it. And we got to understand also, we got our own demons that, hey, narcissists gonna fight, man, right? They gonna butt heads. We can one up that. We're going into the fight knowing, right? Here's the thing. I can walk up to anybody in a bar and be like, dude, I don't like you. Let's fight, right? But if I see Mike Tyson, you think I'm rolling up on that dude and be like, man, I think I can take you, Mike. Man, I don't care. Mike Tyson, 90 years old, in an old folks home, in a wheelchair, right? I still ain't rolling up on Mike Tyson. Remember that dude? Like 8 seconds, like one punch knocking people out. No way. But here's the thing. Because we know Mike a badass mofo, right? We know what's going to happen. We know. I know. Right? Same thing. So we've identified they're a narcissist. We feel pretty good they have narcissistic personality disorder. So we got to understand. That's going to be like fighting Mike Tyson. And here's the thing. You like me, I get it. Right? It's different because, man, I'm Conor McGregor, right? I'm the Conor McGregor of narcissists. I'm a bad motherfucker. I got the whole swagger, and man, I can light you up in like 10 seconds in the octagon, right? I get it. So, I mean, Mike Tyson against Conor McGregor, that's going to be a fight. That's going to be a battle. But here's the thing. That's not reality, right? That's not a fight we want to have. Okay? Walk through what would happen. You know, whether it's a family relationship, I mean, we take that fight on. What does that look like? Let's walk down that road. It's a work relationship. What happens? Right? We know not to get in that fight, right? So we got to do something Conor McGregor never did. We got back down, right? We got to be like, no. I know the characteristics. I know what they are. I know what I am. I'm on a path of wellness and betterment that they're not. And I'm going to be able to control this. And I'm going to go into this meeting, or I'm going to go into this family dinner, and I'm going to win. They don't even know it, but I'm going to win. And I tell you, I'm going to write about it in my journal. And then I'm gonna take that accountability coach, and I'm gonna get the biggest smile on my face as I tell them how great because they're the only people that are ever gonna know we won. And it's gotta be enough, right? Knowing deep down inside, we did it, right? And we congratulate ourselves. That's what I'm talking about. But there are going to be challenges, and you got to be ready for it, right? But the good news is, the more you identify it, the easier it'll be to identify in the future, right? The more you battle it, the easier it'll get to battle in the future, right? It's not difficult. Try to go outside. Well, let me take that back. So if you don't run, try to go outside and run 5 miles, right? Not easy. Not easy. But the more you do it, the easier it gets, right? Yeah, I told you I got analogies. I got good ones. Oh, no glory hounding, right? It's a good analogy. It's the same thing here. The more we take on these battles, the better we get. Man, I'm winning them left and right. I am. And I hope you are too. And if you are, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, right? And I'm proud of how proud you are of yourself. Like, that's awesome. That's amazing, right? I can see that shine coming from inside. Right? That's beautiful. That's a beautiful, beautiful, amazing thing. And if you don't have narcissistic personality disorder, or you're not a narcissist, these are good techniques for dealing with them, right? You don't have to be a narcissist to have to deal with narcissists in the right way. Because here's the thing. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you get it from me every time. Leave them immediately. Leave them, cut off all contact. Do not let them back in. They're abusive. There is no scenario where they are not going to be emotionally abusive. The chances are that they're not just going to be emotionally abusive, but they're going to be sexual. They could be sexually abusive, physically abusive, financially abusive, and you don't deserve that. And you cannot continue like that. You need to get out of that relationship. And you need to sever all ties, because they will try to get their foot in the door and find their way back in to do the same things over and over and over again. It's up to you to make the decision to stop it. You have to be the one to control and stop the situation. You're strong enough, and you deserve a different future. But hey, you're going to have relationships that you can't get out of, right? Maybe it's a family member. Look, man, I mean, I'm not going to not go to Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner because, my brother's a narcissist and he's going to be there. Or my uncle's a narcissist, or my niece, my aunt, whoever, right? Here's how, use some of these techniques to deal with them, right? Get planned, right? Get hyped up and know what you're going to do before you get there. You know what I mean? But all of this kind of comes back to, be ready, because when you when you identify that you have this disorder, man, you're gonna think everybody has it, and you're gonna turn on the TV and you're like, I never noticed before, but that person's a narcissist, right? That person has narcissistic personality disorder, and you start, you start looking, listening to songs, and you're like, I wonder if this song's about a narcissist, and it just, everybody you seem to encounter. Right? It just, at least that's what's happened with me. So you just need to be ready for that, right? Meet the challenge. But the most important part about this is definitely make sure that if you are a narcissist and you have narcissistic personality disorder, man, you got to acknowledge you have it. You got to want change. You got to want it. You got to desire it. You got to need it. You got to beg for it, right? I mean, that's just, it's, there's nothing I want more than change. Looking back at 49 years, can't change the past, right? We can't change the past, but you acknowledge you have this disorder and you want your future to be better than your past. You got a counselor or a therapist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist or whoever. No, they got to be licensed. Let me not say whoever. Don't go knocking on your neighbor's door and be like, hey, I need some therapy. Unless your neighbor is a licensed professional therapist and willing, to see you as a client, right? And you gotta be accepting of their information, right? And you do all that, and it's going to get better. Every day it's going to get better. It is, I promise. It's not, is everything going to be beautiful and amazing at all times? No, come on, it's life. Stuff goes sideways, right? It's going to happen, right? But I tell you, I will take the worst sideways day you could ever give me, and I will take it with a smile on my face if I'm controlling this disorder. It's because I just know everything's going to be so much better. Everything's going to be so much better. My work relationships are better. My friend relationships are better. My family relationships are better. My relationships with people I don't know are better. You know how happy I am to go into a store and not curse and berate people and say terrible things to them. Dear Lord. People I don't even see. People that, customer service you talk to on the phone. Like, everything's better. And hey, not today, not tomorrow, but one day, I'm gonna have that amazing relationship, right? And I've shared. I'm single, right? Single narcissist. There we go. Put that on your dating app, Jim. Narcissist with narcissistic personality disorder. They swoon, right? That's not funny. I apologize when I make light of things like that. But no, I'm single. I'm making the conscious effort that I don't feel enough in control of my disorder to take on the challenges of dating someone. Because I've hurt a lot of people, but I've never hurt anybody the way I have my past relationships. Nobody. And I'm not going to hurt anybody like that ever again. And I'm not ready for that. But when I am, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be so wonderful. It's going to be spectacular. It is. It is. It is. But yeah. And I'll give you a peek behind the curtain. Every narcissist has to have some kind of regret. And of course, mine's the one that got away. My ex, most amazing, phenomenal human being to ever walk the earth. And I could live a million lives and I'll never. And this is, you can't make this stuff up, man. My son had me crying. And we were just hanging out having dinner and I brought up the ex. And of course he had to say it, Dad, you'll never meet anybody you match with better. Man, I started crying right there at dinner. You're so right. But I allowed my disorder to control me. I emotionally abused her. And she made the right decision that she didn't want to be with me. And that will be my biggest regret of my entire life. And when I tell you that when the time comes and I feel like I'm in control enough of this disorder to start dating again, I'll meet somebody. It'll never be anything even close to what I had with her. Never. And I have to accept that. I have to acknowledge that. I caused that. But happy, and I'm so happy for I'm happy she doesn't have to live her life afraid. So happy. I am. I'm glad she doesn't have to live in fear of me emotionally abusing her, manipulating her ever again. Makes me really happy. I always cry. I do. It's emotional stuff. It's intense. It's intense. Such a great person. She is. And she deserves everything. And I tell you, I hope that I am in some way, shape, or form a role model or helpful to somebody out there. Because maybe you're in that relationship now, and you know, the bad news is, you know, if the other person in that relationship is coming and watching these videos, I'm telling them to dump you right now and to block you completely. And I apologize, but I have to for their safety. But you know, maybe this hits somebody that's in that relationship and they realize what they're doing, and unlike me, didn't take the relationship ending and that other person, you know, to bring you to the realization of what you are and what you do. All right, that was intense.